All right, so welcome back. This is Buddha Smokes Path to Enlightenment, episode 2. I told you guys, yesterday we talked about street life and all that shit. Today, title of episode 2 is Gods or Extraterrestrials. Um, if you know me, you already know what the fuck's about to happen, dude. So we're gonna get to this now. So let me say before we even start, some things I'm telling you are factual, some are my opinion, and I will speculate. You know, when I tell you, I'll tell you which one it is. I'm a firm believer of the ancient astronaut theory. Okay, some people laugh at that or think it's crazy, but just check me out and we'll see how you feel at the end of this video. So, let me think even where to start. So basically, the ancient astronaut theory is that in the ancient past, another species, like humanoid species, extraterrestrials. When I say aliens, I'm not talking about little fucking green-headed guys or green big-headed guys. I'm talking about a more intelligent race that lives on another planet. Now, a lot of people don't know this. Okay, so like if you go out right now and you look up at the night sky and you see all them stars, tons of fucking stars. Now, them stars you're seeing is just a small portion of the stars that are out there because based on where the planet's at and where we are on the planet, okay? Every fucking one of those stars are a sun, okay? Just like our sun. And every one of those suns have planets that orbit them, okay? And every sun has a habitable zone. Now, the habitable zone is where we live. Earth, Mars, it's the habitable zone. It's where it's not too close to the sun and it's not too far from the sun and it can sustain liquid water. So for biological beings like us, you know what I'm saying, like we're water based, we live in that habitable zone, okay? So we used to think that that'd be the only place to find life. So every sun has a habitable zone. Now, is there a planet in every single habitable zone of every single sun? No, but I mean, there's billions and billions of stars out there, dudes, or so billions of suns. So there definitely are. But now we know that that's not even true. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that life that evolves, it evolves based on that planet. So for all we know, there can be shit that lives on the sun. You know what I mean? Like we're water based because we live on a water based planet. Like they used to think that way down in the ocean where there's no sunlight that nothing could live. Now they know there's all those crazy ass fish down there with the big ass teeth and the fucking lanterns on their head and shit. They found life deep as fuck under the ice where they said nothing could live. And they found life. It was bacterial life, like shit like that, but still, it's fucking life. So basically, the ancient astronaut theory is that something more intelligent race landed here back in the day, and they were misinterpreted as gods. Now, it makes so much sense because think of this, okay? If we discovered another planet right now that had life on it, and they were like primitive, like they were living in fucking like avatars, you know what I'm saying? But they were living in fucking I don't know, little huts and wearing fucking leotards and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like primitive people. And they seen us landing. Okay, so we're popping up in these crafts in the sky. They couldn't even compare that. Like right now we could be like, oh, it looked like a boat, it looked like a plane. They didn't have that shit. All they had was fucking maybe a wagon. So if we landed and come out in these crazy clothes with all these gadgets, they would think we were gods. And even when we tried to explain to them that we're not gods, they wouldn't be able to comprehend that. Because what are we going to tell them? No, we're not gods. We're from another planet. So what the fuck is a planet? They don't know what a planet is. You know what I'm saying? All we'd be able to do is point to our sun and be like, that's where we came from. Now think, the ancients, they all worship different like star systems, like Orion and the Pleiades and shit like that. Okay, so back in the day, something landed here. When it landed, they didn't know what the fuck it was. That's why they say chariots of fire, or the gods came down on shields of fire, or clouds, a smoking fire, shit like that. So they landed here, and we misinterpreted them as gods because they didn't know any better. They got these crazy gadgets, and they got all this crazy shit. Like, can you imagine if we could bring somebody back from say 3000 BC and show them a fucking cell phone, or a lighter, or a toilet? I mean, what do you think they'd say? If you took them in there right now and showed them a toilet and flushed your toilet, how do you think they'd describe that? Probably it rushed louder than 1,000 waterfalls and it shined brighter than, that's all they had. Like, so every time they talk about God, they talk about bright white lights, okay, that shine brighter than 1,000 suns. Now, you got to understand is these people didn't have white lights. The only lights they had in those days were fires in the sun. So to see a spotlight, that was holy to them. They didn't know what the fuck that was. Or when they talk about God or angels talking, they talk about how they sounded. They talked louder than 1,000 trumpets. So what was the loudest thing they had back then? A trumpet. They didn't have speakers. So if these fucking extraterrestrials are talking over loudspeakers, they don't know what the fuck that is. You know what I'm saying? All they could do is use the current vocabulary that they had of that time and try to describe what they were seeing. Um, in the book of Ezekiel, okay, Ezekiel describes seeing what he thinks is God. You know, he describes it like to a T. He talks about wheels on wheels and all this shit, okay? So Eric von Daniken, that's the godfather of the ancient astronaut theory. He wrote a book way back in the day called Chariots of the Gods. And he grew up like a Catholic, you know? And in this book, all he was doing was questioning a bunch of shit because shit didn't make sense. You know, like you think I'm crazy because I believe that there's more intelligent beings out there that came here and we misinterpret as gods. Well, I think you're crazy because you believe there's a white guy with a beard who lives in the clouds, you know? So just hear me out here, okay? Also, before I get into this Eric Von Daniken thing, keep this in mind. From what we know, our universe is 14 billion years old. I could be wrong with the numbers, but it's something like that, okay? Earth is 8 billion years old, okay? So do the math. What's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? So that's a 6 billion year difference. So in them 6 billion years, you don't think that other life evolved on other planets? So that means that there could potentially right now be a race out there that is 6 billion years more advanced than we are. You know, traveling through the stars. You know, our stars are so fucking far apart. Um, they're like, oh, well, why haven't we found it yet? We're still babies in this shit, man. You know what I mean? Like, look at our technology. And yeah, it's amazing what we got today, but we're still babies to this shit. Imagine a species that's 1,000 years more advanced than us, 10,000 years, a million years, a billion years. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's very much a possibility. Like, why wouldn't it be? And even if you believe in God, you believe in Jesus and Christianity, I don't. But let's say you do, it still doesn't contradict it because the Bible is the story of God creating earth. So if there is this guy with a beard, God, whatever, that created earth, why would he have created this mass fucking universe and only put life on this one little planet? Like the universe is constantly expanding. Do you know that? It expands. So like why the fuck would we be the only life? You know, like you look at our us and you zoom out to the earth. We're like specks of dust on the earth, you know? Then you zoom out to our galaxy. Our entire solar system is like a speck of dust. Then you zoom out into the whole universe and our galaxy is like a speck of dust. Like we are nothing. We're minute. We're tiny little fucking micronisms compared to the universe, you know? So anyways, Eric Von Daniken. So he wrote the book Chariots of the Gods. He's giving a speech sometime somewhere, whatever. I don't know the exact details, but he's giving a speech and he's talking about how what Ezekiel described in the book of Ezekiel was actually a spacecraft, a UFO, some type of craft, you know. So there's this guy in the crowd, hardcore Christian, stands up, basically snapping on Eric Von Daniken, telling him you're a fucking fraud, you're blaspheming God. Like, well, the dude was an engineer for NASA. So this Christian who hates Eric Von Daniken just happened to be an engineer for NASA. So he tells Eric Von Daniken, she says, I'm gonna prove you wrong, motherfucker. I'm gonna prove that you're a fraud, you know? So this NASA, or this engineer for NASA, goes back, gets the book of Ezekiel, takes exactly what Ezekiel describes, and he builds it. What do you think that motherfucker had when he was done? Yeah, a fucking spacecraft, bro. To this day, he is one of Eric Von Daniken's biggest fucking supporters, okay? Now, all the way on the other side of the world, there's another guy. Knows nothing about Eric or this other guy. Don't know nothing about that situation. But later on in the book of Ezekiel, God tells Ezekiel to build a palace in which he can land or come down from heaven to earth. Okay? So this dude takes the blueprints and builds the palace. He hears about Eric Von Daniken. They end up meeting up, and the spacecraft that the dude from NASA came up with landed perfectly into this palace. Perfect fucking match. Okay? That's not coincidence, bro. You know, Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, in the Bible, Sodom and Gomorrah was so fucking evil that God destroyed it. They described that God threw a stone of fire from the heavens and it came down and destroyed the whole city. And after that, there was a mushroom cloud up over the city that could be seen for whatever days, weeks, months. I don't know how long. That's a nuke, bro. I mean, that's exactly what happens. They thought Sodom and Gomorrah was fake. They found that motherfucker. And then when they found it and dug it up, all the sand was glass. When we test our nukes in the deserts right now, they turn the fucking sand to glass. And they're tested for radiation. So, like, you gotta understand this, man. And, like, the Bible wasn't, the original Hebrew Bible wasn't God. It was gods. It was plural. In the Bible, it talks about God sitting down with his council and discussing shit. It says that God created us in their image. Like, we created you in our image. It doesn't say my, it says our. It's plural. It talks about Genesis 6:6. It depends which Bible you read, it's worded different, but it says that the daughters of man were so beautiful that the sons of God would come down and have sex with them. Okay, the sons of God. Who's the fucking sons of God, bro? If God just okay, let's go back to more Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were supposed to be the first two people on Earth. God created Adam and Eve. They're running around naked, eating, fucking picking cherries off fucking trees, and just living their little lives like animals. Then Satan comes along and says, "Yo, check this out. Eat this, and you'll have some knowledge." So they eat it, and it makes us what we are today. Now, if that is true, to me, that sounds like God wanted us to be animals, and Satan made us intelligent beings. But I don't believe that. So check this out. So Adam and Eve have kids. They have Cain and Abel. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with the story of Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel. Okay, so when this happens, they're living in like a little, I don't know what the fuck you call it, a hamlet, whatever. They got a little wooden house with little crops they're growing and probably pigs and chickens and whatever the case may be. So Cain kills Abel. So when Cain kills Abel, they banish him. Cain goes west to a city, a thriving city full of people. Where the fuck did this city come from, bro? If Adam and Eve were the first two people on Earth, how is there a thriving city out here to the west? There's a lot of shit that just doesn't add up. I'm not saying the Bible ain't true because a lot of the stories in the Bible are true, okay? But I do not believe in the New Testament. The New Testament was created to control the masses, and I'm going to tell you why, okay? The Bible originally was only written in Latin, okay? So the only person that could read the Bible was the priest. So when you went to church, the priest read the Bible. You had no clue what it said in there except what he told you. At one point in time, back then it was king and religion, king and church. They were the most powerful. The king couldn't do nothing without the church. Church couldn't do nothing without the king. You know what I'm saying? Like, that motherfuckers were the two top dogs. So I don't know who the first king was, but he decided to make his own version of the Bible. So he had the Bible translated into English, and he made his own version. When he did that, all the kings started trying to do that. It was like today. If you don't have a nuke today, your country ain't shit. That's how it was back then. If you ain't have your own version of the Bible, you wasn't shit. That's why there's all these different versions, like the King James version, shit like that. Well, eventually, I don't know the exact dates, and this is not 100% accurate, but this is true. They had a meeting. They all sat down and they decided what they was going to keep in the Bible and what they were going to take out of the Bible. The Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch was removed from the Bible. In the Book of Enoch, some angels or God or whatever hit this motherfucker up, and they're like, "Yo, check it out. You're coming with us." They take him up to heaven. Basically, what Enoch describes is exactly what our astronauts see today when they leave this planet. Okay, like exact description. He describes landing on like a station, being decontaminated, coming up elevators. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to think this is a primitive man. So imagine him seeing all this technology, computer screens and lights, and you know what I'm saying? He wouldn't know how to describe that. He'd say it was, shined like jewels or diamonds or whatever he could compare it to in his current time and his vocabulary. So they had Enoch. I could be a little off here, okay, but this is the basis of the story. They had Enoch write some shit down. Okay, he wrote it down on like these golden tablets, and he didn't understand it. And he told them like, "I don't understand this," and they told him like, "This isn't for you to understand. This is for the future generations." So they bring Enoch back. By the time Enoch comes back, 300 years have passed on Earth now. Now, time is only relevant to our planet. Okay, like it takes our planet 24 hours to spin. That's why our one day is 24 hours for us. It takes our planet 365 days to orbit our sun. That's why 1 year is 365 days. We are naturally evolved on this planet, so our bodies are in tune to our planet's time. So that's why we age a year as the planet orbits. If we lived on another planet, say it took 1,000 days to orbit the sun, 1 year would be 1,000 days for us. You know what I'm saying? If it took the planet 52 hours to rotate, 1 day would be 52 hours for us, and our bodies would age with that. So time is irrelevant once you leave our atmosphere, pretty much. So wherever the fuck he went, 300 years passed on Earth, they bring him back. They tell him like, "Yo, spread this to the people. Find some homies you trust to carry this and pass it on. We're gonna come back in 6 months and get you." And they give him a box or a rock. I can't remember which one it says that they're calling him on. So 6 months later they hit him like, "Yo, bro, we're coming to get you. Meet us here." I mean, to me, that sounds like, I don't know, a walkie-talkie, a phone, something along them lines. Like, they didn't know, though. They called it a rock, a talking rock or some shit. So when Enoch goes to meet them, when they're coming to pick him up, all these people follow him. And when they get to a certain point, they hit him on this little rock, and they're like, "Listen, bro, they can't come past this line or they're going to die." So most of them stay back. Some of them go 15, 30, whatever, go with him. Well, when he leaves, they describe him leaving on a cloud of fire. Okay? Right now, pause this video and go Google a rocket ship taking off at nighttime, and you tell me what the fuck that looks like. It's a cloud of fire, bro. Well, the people who followed him down there to the cloud of fire was never seen again. They were completely disintegrated. You know what I'm saying? Because if you stood under a rocket ship when a rocket ship was taking off, it'd be completely disintegrated. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, if you've ever read the Bible, and I've read the Bible many, many fucking times in my life, read the Bible with an open mind of what I'm telling you right now. Instead of thinking God, think extraterrestrial. and tell me that Bible doesn't make so much more fucking sense, bro. Um, Moses survived in the desert for 40 years or however many years it was, and they said these things called manas. God sent these things called manas that brought him food. You know, like that sounds like a machine to me, bro. Something was bringing these motherfuckers food while they was living in the desert. The Ark of the Covenant. The people who carried the Ark of the Covenant, their hair fell out, their fingernails fell off. That's radiation, bro. They used the Ark of the Covenant to blow down the walls of Jericho. You know, so clearly that was some type of technology given to them by the gods. You know, man, it goes on and on and on. Okay, World War II. Okay, we found this fucking island in World War II, like a primitive ass island. These motherfuckers. It was a no-fly zone. They'd never seen technology. They were still living in teepees and leotards type shit, hunting with fucking pigs with wooden spears type shit. You know, so we land. This is like 1940 something. We land in these planes. We get off these planes with all this technology. We got guns, we got lighters. You can Google this. There's pictures of them. These motherfuckers were so fascinated by lighters. Okay, so we was using this island to run supplies to our soldiers somewhere, whatever. We leave. Okay, to this fucking day, you can Google this, bro. This is facts. To this day, those people every year on the date that we left have this giant ritual, and they dress up like in American flags and American soldiers, and they have these rituals in hopes that their gods will return. They think that we are gods to this fucking day. So why couldn't that have happened thousands and thousands of years ago? The pyramids. A lot of you don't even know about the pyramids. The pyramids of Giza, we can't build those right now. It would take 100,000 of the world's biggest cranes. That's the cranes that built skyscrapers in New York. 100,000 of them to move the blocks that are in the pyramids. Beyond that, the pyramids line up with the fucking compass exact. That's impossible, bro. That is impossible for people without technology to have aligned these perfectly with north, south, east, west. If you go from the tip of the pyramid to the northern part and the tip from the southern part, it's the exact mathematical equation from our equator to our North Pole and our equator to our South Pole. Now check this out. If we all died right now, okay, 1,000 years from now, say another intelligent species landed on Earth, there would be absolutely no sign of us. Not a single building, skyscraper, nothing would be left here because metal rust and everything would fall and crumble. You can Google that. The only thing that would still be standing would be the fucking pyramids because stone is the only thing that withstands time. So if something came here back in the day and wanted to leave some type of sign for us to figure it out, they'd have built it in stone. Not only did they build this giant ass construction that would have been impossible for the people back in the day to build, but they left little hints and signs. You know, like lining up perfectly with the fucking compass and the mathematical equations. And there's more, you know, like you can Google and research it. There's a lot more. There's shit that primitive people could not have known. And even if there wasn't that, how the fuck was they building that shit with stones and stick tools, ropes and logs? Like, dude, some of them fucking blocks are 200,000 tons or some shit like that. That's insane, bro. Insane. And then the stone that the pyramids are built of, you can't even find that stone anywhere except for like miles and miles and miles away. Like you'd have to go over valleys and mountains to get that shit. It is impossible that they built that shit without help. You know, it's physically impossible. Pumapinku, or whatever the fuck it's called. I got the H blocks. Google it. Google H blocks. They're cut so precise that if you go there right now and run your finger down one, it'll cut you. Every single one of these blocks is exactly the same. Not a centimeter off. That's impossible, bro. If a carpenter comes right now and builds a table and then builds another table and builds another one, they're going to be a little bit off. You know, that's why we have factories that stamp shit and pump shit out. That's what these H blocks look like. We tried to mimic the cuts. We couldn't mimic the cuts. The closest we can get to mimicking the cuts of this stone was our diamond lasers, which are our most are now it's like currently our most advanced lasers. Couldn't mimic it. Ley lines. Okay, so an obelisk. How the fuck you say that? They're them tall ass things that come to the point. There's one in Mount Washington. I think it's called the Mount Washington Monument or some shit. They're all over the world. They're built out of granite. Okay, or granite. However the fuck you say that. Well, granite can harness energy. Okay, we discovered these ley lines now. Every fucking obelisk in the world is built on a ley line, which means that a ley line is like lines of energy that run under our through the earth. So these obelisks can harness that energy. It's natural energy of the earth. So they're building these obelisks made of granite, which are harvesting the fucking energy of the earth, and then comes to the point. Who knows what they were doing with it, blasting it up, whatever. How the fuck could they have known about ley lines, bro? It's impossible. I'm just spitting. These are facts. What I'm telling you here, okay? There's these I'm not 100% sure, but there's these fucking villages somewhere, okay, and they all line up with this certain star system. And ancient astronaut theories are saying like they line up perfectly with the star system. And modern, I don't know, historians or whatever are saying no, you're wrong, whatever, blah blah blah. So we found another star in this star system, like within the last 10 years or 15, whatever. Well, when we found this star, that was the argument. We're like, all right, well, if these people built, like extraterrestrials told these people to build these villages that line up with the stars, they would have known about this star. You know what I'm saying? Well, then we came out with LiDAR. LiDAR can see under the jungles and under the ice, and they found a fucking village lined up to that star. A star that we just discovered. There was a village lined up to it. How, bro? How? Explain that to me. And like everything I'm telling you is facts, bro. Um, I don't know why our government don't want to like just tell us and admit they was wrong. I don't know, but I've been telling motherfuckers since I was a kid that they was gonna admit that there was aliens, and they just did. And people don't even give a fuck, bro. Like they admitted there's aliens, and let me tell you why. Okay, the show Ancient Aliens. That show would not have been allowed to be on TV back in the 70s. They had to prepare us for that. Okay, the whole point of government is we pay you taxes and you provide us protection. You know what I'm saying? Like we live in America. Can't no one run up in here and do nothing to us. We're Americans. America runs America. We pay taxes. It's almost paying homage. Now, if they had came out and said, hey, there's these aliens that we have no protection against, it would have caused chaos. Because why the fuck should we pay you taxes? You can't protect us from them. But now look what we did. The Pope 10, 15 years ago said, prepare yourselves. There might be other life out there. Donald Trump made the Space Force. We now have an army in space. Now they're admitting that there's aliens. Now we have a defense towards them. Now we can say, well, we got an army up in space, so we're cool. We got you guys. Like it's just been leaking over the years and or however long, decade, whatever. Like they've been slowly preparing us for this. Back in the day, people lived their life by the Bible. Like them motherfuckers hard in truth believed that if you didn't follow these 10 commandments, that you were gonna burn in hell for all eternity. On a side note, just most of you probably don't know, hell wasn't even added to the Bible until like 10,040 A.D. Okay, that's not real, bro. And this is my opinion. Hell's not real. Okay, heaven's not real. And I'm sorry if I'm offending you, but it's not. Do I believe there's a spiritual realm? Absolutely. I think that we're reincarnated. I think that our spirits come back and live multiple lives for whatever reason on our path to enlightenment. I think your subconscious, because we have no control over your subconscious. I think that your subconscious is a collective memory of all the data that you've stored from all of your lives that you lived, and your conscience is from your current life. If that makes sense to you, it might not, but it makes sense to me. That's why our subconscious is our instinct, and you know what I'm saying. Like, if you just look into reincarnation, there's just cases that are undisputable. Like, there's kids that know shit. It's undisputable. So to me, reincarnation is 100% real. Like what we see is nothing. Like we don't know, bro. There's spiritual realms. There's different dimensions. There's different planes. Like look at the Mandela effect. Like there's so much more to this universe that we just don't know. And some of our minds are just so simple minded or so closed that we don't care to know. I've had this conversation with people and they couldn't even comprehend. They're like, yo, that's just too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we gotta open our minds, man, because we're stronger, we're better. Our brains are the most powerful thing. One brain is like more powerful than every piece of technology we got on the planet. If we can unlock our brains, we can do a lot more, man. And like the government, the 1%, whoever, they don't want that. I don't know why, but they don't. But I don't know. This episode went really quick. It's already been 23 minutes, so I'm going to be ending it here, and I'll do a part 2 of this. That'll be episode 3. Will be part 2 of this because I didn't even cover nothing of what I wanted to cover. But I just want you guys to just think about what I said. Just do your own research. Don't be afraid to question it. Like there's a lot in the Bible that makes no fucking sense. Okay, none at all. So go back and read that. And instead of thinking of a god, a white guy or a black guy or whatever up in the heavens with a beard, think of an extraterrestrial. Think of a more intelligent species that came here in the distant past and that our ancestors misinterpreted as gods. And then read that Bible and you tell me it don't make sense. Every miracle that has happened in the Bible, we can do today. Every single one. Virgin Mary. We can impregnate a girl that's a virgin. Sodom and Gomorrah, like I said. I mean, it goes on and on and on, man. But like every single miracle that's happened in the Bible, we can do now. It's technology, bro. It's fucking technology. It's nothing. There's so much. But I just want you guys to do your own research. I'm gonna do part 2 tomorrow. So if you guys watch this today, do some research and then come back. Comment, please. If you guys disagree with me, argue. I want you guys to criticize me. I want you guys to tell me I'm an idiot. I want you to tell me I'm wrong. But I want you to back that up. Period. Because I got facts to back what I'm saying up. You know, there's ancient Egyptian fucking carvings of helicopters, bro. You know, there's so much. You know, the Baghdad batteries, and there's just, and you might not even know what these are. Google them, bro. So if you're gonna comment on here and talk shit, which I want you to, because I love to argue and I love to debate, I would gladly bring you on this show with me, and we can fucking argue. But have some facts, bro. Don't tell me have faith, because that's bullshit. Anytime I argue with a Christian about this shit, have faith, have faith, have faith. And I'm gonna tell you this, and if I offend anybody, I'm sorry. But if I'm wrong, and God is real, that ain't even my type of dude, bro. Because I'd give my life for a kid. This motherfucker got kids, can fix anything with the snap of a finger. Got kids being born retarded and with cancer, and kids getting molested, and like, and everyone's like, oh, you know, he only gives you what you can handle, and then, man, fuck all that, bro. That's bullshit to me, you know. And if heaven's real and hell's real, heaven ain't even my type of party, because I like to fucking party and go hard, and I'm not about to be kissing your feet and shit, bro. You know, like, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I know that probably is very offensive, and I'm sorry, but I just feel like it's time to move on, bro. Like, Christianity has only been around for 2,000 years. Go read some ancient religions. Satru, the Mayans, just any ancient religion. They're all fucking the same, bro. They're all the same. They're all about living, karma, peace, love, like doing for you and your family and your neighbor. Like, there was no such thing as sin. Sin is not real. And this is my opinion. Sin is not real. You can't tell me that I'm born doomed unless I accept some guy as my God. I'm going to burn in hell for all eternity. And then I'm supposed to love. You're supposed to love Jesus more than you love your own parents or kids. Come on, man. I mean, just let's look at life. Let's just rationalize this situation here. That doesn't make sense. You know? Now, when they made the New Testament, it made a lot of sense because they controlled the masses. They had all these people believing that if you didn't follow these fucking rules, you was gonna burn in hell for all eternity. Whoever thought of that shit was smart as fuck, because it worked for years and years and years, but it's not working anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just admitted that there's aliens, and our generation knows that already. People weren't like, oh my god, like, people were like, yeah, duh, we knew that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have cell phones and shit now, bro. Everybody got a camera in their pocket. Dude, you can't hide this shit no more. You can't just tell me to have faith. Have faith. Have faith. That's not how this shit works, bro. You know? Science keeps proving shit and proving shit and proving shit and proving shit and proving shit, and they're gonna continue to prove shit. So we gotta get with the times, man. And most of us are. You know, there's some of you that ain't. Some of you are gonna hate me for this video. You know, like, and I'm sorry. Don't watch it then. But what I just told you, almost everything I said is factual. Google it, research it, look into it yourselves, comment, come back tomorrow, watch part two. I'll be back tomorrow, part two. Thank you guys, because I'm really trying to go somewhere with this podcast. Not even like make money off it. I'm just trying to, I just want to teach, bro. You know, I'm here for a reason, and I think this is my reason. I'm trying to open your minds, because mine's been opened. And when I finally understood life, or to what I believe the understanding of life is, my life has been great. You know, I'm not afraid to die. You know, I'm living my best life. I'm loving. I'm having fun, and I'm gonna be the best me I can in this life and learn whatever the hell I'm supposed to learn for the next one. You know, so I hope that each and every one of you can get to the understanding that I've reached. And if it ain't the same, hopefully it's similar. You know, whatever works for you works for you. But please, please do the research. Don't just believe a book. Don't just believe what's told to you. Research it for yourself. You can't even believe all the research. You know, you might read one page that says one thing and one says the other. It's like the news. You watch CNN, the Fox News, it's night and day. You got to cipher through it and understand what makes sense, you know? So I'll be back tomorrow, guys. Please subscribe. I need 50 subscribers to go live. Share. Tell your friends about it if you guys liked it. I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. Gods or Extraterrestrials Part 2. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Thank you. This is Buddha Smoke's Path to Enlightenment. And hopefully we can all, travel this path together and get enlightened, baby.